All right, here with Brent Hayden. Brent, obviously world record has just gone down in the past few months. David Popovici has really set the swimming world on fire. What's your thoughts on him?
One, it's just an amazingly talented swimmer. It's been so much fun watching his meteoric rise, especially at the age of only 17 years old. I was in that pool in that race when Caesar set that record 13 years ago.
Wow, that's right.
So seeing David not just breaking the world record at his age, it was almost like it almost made it like a little bit more special, the fact that it was actually done in that same pool. But I always remember that moment that we had at the Tokyo Olympics. I know he talked about it on your podcast, where I think I was just getting my tray in the cafeteria, and I hear this faint little voice saying, "Mr. Hayden," and I turn around and see this kid standing there, and he had his face mask on, so I didn't really recognize him like right away, especially since I was used to seeing photos of him when he had his longer hair, and I looked down at his credentials and I see his name there, and I was like, oh my god, like you're David Popovici. And it was such a cool moment, and that how he said that my comeback was inspiring him. So seeing him get that world record, I think made me feel pretty proud that I might have had a small little impact on that.
Well, listen, like you said, you're in that world record swim. You've been a world champion yourself, Olympic medalist in the 100 freestyle. So, like, you're one of the legends that I've been lucky enough to speak to in the past couple of weeks. I've talked to Popov, I've talked to Clem, I've talked to yourself, Anthony Irvin. So I've had the best of the best kind of giving us their take on him. What's next for him, you think? Like, obviously we're 2 years out of Paris. What would be your advice to him now that he is the world record holder at 17, 2 years out of the Olympics?
I don't think he really needs any advice. From watching how he broke that world record, but then came back to the World Juniors, and every single time he gets on those blocks, he's given 110%. I think he's already got the right head on the shoulders. And that's the head of a champion. So he's hungry, and he's gonna be working hard, and he doesn't seem like the kind of athlete that's going to settle. So if I had to say any piece of advice, is just keep doing what you're doing, man. You're absolutely amazing.
Just for the people out there that don't fully understand the 100 freestyle, you had a very similar race strategy to him, where it was very strong out, but you weren't necessarily leading at the 50. But your second 50 was very, very strong compared to maybe some of the others in the field, and that was kind of what you were known for swimming over the top of people. How difficult is it to come off that wall and be hitting consistent 24 lows? Like, just for perspective for everybody.
Oh, it hurts like hell, because you pass your anaerobic threshold, and your whole body is just screaming in pain. You're trying to get more oxygen into your limbs, and you're trying to hold not just your stroke rate, but you're trying to actually maintain a hold on the water. You're trying to hold your breathing pattern, trying to hold your body in alignment with your rotation, as your core is completely wanting to just fall apart, and trying to keep those legs going, and just trying to stay disciplined. But last 15 meters, trying to find the last little extra gear to try to pick up your strokes. And I think Nathan Adrian, what we saw him do in London, is probably one of the best examples you could see of somebody finding a way to lift in the last 15 meters, where he totally changed his stroke style, and went like totally open arm for the last 15 meter, and got his hand on the wall for that gold medal. I don't think historically I necessarily meant to go out a little slower and back stronger. I think it was just one of those things where my front end speed was just never really as developed as my back end speed, because I used to swim the 200 free. But then in 2011 World Champs, I think I was 5th or 6th at the 50-meter wall, but then in London I was 2nd, right behind Caesar.
Right. Okay. So how close are we to a 23-second 50, you think?
With David, I think anything is possible. I mean, we already saw how fast he's gone already, and he's only 17, so I think he's not even near his prime years yet. So I think we can't no, we can't say he's not going to be able to achieve anything, because we really have no idea what that kid is capable of.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, fun to sit back, and it's hard to kind of, we're not disqualifying the rest of the competition either. You know, there's the Brent Haydens of the world out there that are like, hey, I want a piece of this as well. So a lot of top talent, a lot of great swimmers.
Well, I just want to say, like, what we've always seen is when one person kind of breaks through that barrier, it suddenly opens up the possibility to everyone else, and everybody else starts to suddenly believe too. So what I think David, what he's done is he's broken down that barrier, and he's showing all these other people now that what is possible. And I think that's just going to, he's not going to be leaving the competition behind. He's going to be pulling the competition along. I think you're going to see a lot of other swimmers start to step up as well.
Yeah,
they don't want to get left in his wake.
No. Well, it's going to be fun for us to sit back and watch. Brent Hayden's retired, right?